Welcome to our video on passport setup for subcontractors. This training is part of our Vendor Subcontracting series designed to help prime vendors and their subcontractors navigate passport with ease. This video is brought to you by the Mayor's Office of Contract Services, also known as MOCS. We lead procurement for New York City. We serve as an oversight and service agency dedicated to making it easier to do business with the City of New York. One of the ways we do that is with our digital procurement system called Passport. Today, I'll begin with an overview of today's topic. Then I'll discuss how you can request a vendor account in Passport, set up your contacts, get filed, and validate payments submitted by prime contractors. We'll also close by sharing some helpful resources. Let's begin. You might be asking yourself, what is subcontracting? Well, vendors that contract with the city may hire out some of their work to another vendor with the agency's approval. That vendor is known as a subcontractor. Why is subcontracting so important in Passport? Well, subcontracting has been a part of city procurement for a long time. With the new capabilities in Passport, we can streamline the flow of information, increase transparency for agencies, their vendors, and subcontractors, and improve record keeping and simplify the process so that it doesn't rely on so many offline actions. As a subcontractor, you should check that you have a PIP account. This is Payee Information Portal, or PIP. Make sure that you have a Passport account, you're filed in Passport, and you are assigned the correct user role. If your organization works with New York City as both a prime vendor or prime contractor and a subcontractor, you do not need separate Passport accounts. The Payee Information Portal is managed by another agency, but it is important to have a PIP account as that is how the city processes its payments. We recommend getting a PIP account before creating a Passport account. The rest of the list shown on screen involves Passport, and we'll be going over how to do that so that you're ready to start your subcontracting tasks. Here's how to request a Passport account. Access Passport by going to nyc.gov/passport. On that page, click the Passport Login button. That will take you to the Passport page. Once there, click the Login button, and that will take you to another page, which is the Passport Login page. From there, click on the link that says Create Account. Then you'll complete the Create Account form to request a Passport account, and you'll note all the fields that are required. The form is broken into smaller sections. So you have email or username. In this section, you're going to enter and confirm your full email address only. Do not try to create a Passport account with just a username. You should also use the email address that is associated with your PIP account. The next section is going to be passwords. Passwords must be at least 8 characters and must contain a combination of letters and numbers. Passwords cannot contain spaces or the word password. All right, the next section has to do with your name. Please remember to enter your first name, middle initial, if it applies, and last name in the fields. If you don't have a middle initial, you can leave that field blank if you've filled in a first and last name. Your next section is going to be security question. Make sure you choose a security question from the drop-down and provide an answer that is at least 3 characters long. After that, you'll review the terms of use as well as the privacy policy and click the checkbox. Then finally, click the Create Account button. Account review takes about 2 to 3 business days, so please monitor your email for updates. Once your account has been approved, you'll be able to log into Passport. Upon login, you'll be brought to your home page. Let's take a look around. First, you have the Passport logo. That can be seen on every screen on the top left side. This will bring you back to the Passport homepage. The top navigation menu is also visible from every screen, and this is where you can access several modules such as your profile, tasks, and RFX. RFX is a catch-all term. It stands for Request for X, where the X is a placeholder for things like proposals or requests for information. Just know that RFX is our catch-all term that means solicitation or contracting opportunity. The models that are available to you in this top navigation bar are going to depend on the level of access you're permission with in your user account. There are also 3 icons underneath the Passport logo, and you can see those from every single screen as well. They are the first one, the left pointing caret. It allows you to jump back one screen. And the next one with the curved arrow and clock, think of this as a screen history. So instead of being able to jump back only once, you can look at all of the screens that you visited during your login session. The final icon is the star button, and this is a favoriting functionality. So it allows you to quickly favorite the screen that you're on and access it at any point in time, even if you log out and log back in again. Next, let's talk about widgets. The widgets on your homepage include links that are helpful if you want quick access to view or update your vendor contacts. See things like information listed in your vendor profile, enroll in commodities, browse public RFX, and so much more. Next up is the vendor checklist. This is great to see your progress on things like vendor enrollment or getting filed in Passport, and the commodity enrollment process. You're done with vendor enrollment when all of the items in this checklist, except for commodity enrollment, say yes, and the vendor record status says filed. That means you're all set and ready to do business with the city. Please note that enrolling in commodities or completing that commodity enrollment is a separate process, and it is not needed to complete vendor enrollment, so we won't be going over that today. If your vendor record status says draft, then there are some tasks that need to be completed before your vendor enrollment can be submitted. Let's begin by going to the Vendor Contacts widget. You'll need to set up your contacts so that you can get stuff done in Passport. Using the Vendor Contact widgets on the home page will get you to the Contacts tab. The Contacts tab allows vendors to list all the organization's principal owners, officers, and Passport users. Vendors can also assign roles to the contacts they add to this section. The contact who created the Passport account for the organization is automatically given the role of vendor admin. This is the only role that can manage contacts and assign user roles. To add a new contact, the vendor admin will click the Add a New Contact button and fill out the contact management form, ensuring required fields such as first name, last name, and email address are complete. Required fields are marked with asterisks. Also, the email address used must be the one that your contact used to set up their NYC ID. To learn more about NYC IDs, or NICE IDs as we pronounce them, visit nyc.gov/passport. After you've completed the contact information here, you can click on the Save and Close button at the top. To add a new role to an existing contact, the vendor admin would click in the Profile box, choose the additional role from the drop-down, and then click Save and Refresh at the top of the page. Here are a few best practices and reminders when it comes to assigning user roles. Every contact should be assigned at least one role to be able to log into your Passport account. Users should only have the permissions needed to complete their job. This helps to reduce inadvertent errors. To prevent account access issues, at least 2 individuals should have the vendor admin role. And finally, each contact, including yourself, may be assigned multiple roles. Getting filed in Passport is also known as completing the vendor enrollment package. It is a first step to be ready to do business with the city. So what's the process for completing and submitting a vendor enrollment package in Passport? On your screen, I'm going to share what we like to think of as the happy path to getting filed. First, you'll enter basic information about your organization, add contacts to your vendor account, and make sure they all have the required user roles. Complete disclosures, upload relevant documentation, and add an e-signature, and then submit your package to the city. To begin, you must access your vendor profile, and there are 2 ways to get there from the homepage in Passport. You can hover over Profile in the top navigation menu and then click on Vendor Profile from the drop-down, or you can use the Vendor Information widget. Either way, you'll land in the Basic Information tab where you'll fill out basic information for your organization. Please note that the EIN or tax ID number has been pre-populated from the information you entered when you requested a Passport account. Other areas to look at are the address areas. If you scroll down, you'll enter your business address and primary place of business in NYC metro area address. It's okay if they're the same address. The Google Maps plugin can help you enter the information accurately. If you enter a telephone number, please enter 10 digits with no spaces, dashes, or parentheses. All right, we're back to the Contacts tab. This is where the vendor admin adds contacts and assigns user roles in the vendor contact information section. To complete vendor enrollment, you will need at least 1 vendor admin and 1 signatory. The vendor admin can enter information, add and edit contacts and roles, check progress of entered information, and submit the vendor enrollment package. However, they cannot sign the vendor enrollment package. The signatory should be a principal owner or officer in your organization who has the authority to sign on behalf of the company. Signatories have the same privileges as vendor admins with a few distinct differences. A signatory cannot add or edit contacts or provision user roles, but the signatory is the only role that can sign the vendor enrollment package. Please note that signatory is not the same as vendor contract signatory. Those are 2 different roles. So for the purposes of this, you only need the role that says signatory. The optional contributor role has the fewest privileges for the vendor enrollment process. Typically, this is a role given to someone in your organization who you would like to enter information in the package, but they are unable to do anything like add contacts, provision user roles, add signatures, or even submit the package. It's really up to you how you'd like to assign the roles for your organization. A small business, for example, may have just 1 person with vendor admin and signatory roles. A larger corporation, on the other hand, may choose to assign every member of their legal team as a signatory. In the Disclosures tab, vendors are required to answer all 8 sections of the vendor questionnaire carefully and completely. You're also required to identify the principal owners and officers and have each principal owner and officer complete a principal questionnaire. And the last thing you do in the Disclosures tab is identify whether your organization has a parent and/or controlling entity. Passport will help you keep track of your progress through the different sections of each questionnaire. A green circle with a check mark shows that you have entered all required information within the section. A blue circle with a pause icon in it shows that you are currently working on a section. It's in progress. An orange circle with an X inside shows that you have not started working on a section just yet. As always, make sure to save your work frequently. Passport times out after 20 minutes of inactivity. You may need to click Save and then Save and Next to proceed. When you select an answer containing yes from the questionnaire dropdown, the screen will refresh and you will then have to click the Add Row button. When you click on the Add Row button, the fields will open up and you will have to enter requested details there. Now, if there are any supporting documents or attachments that you need to upload with your questionnaire, you can do so in the section labeled Vendor or Principal Questionnaire Attachments. Make sure that you label the files in a way that makes it clear which questionnaire that file is for, that supporting document, and which question number the document pertains to. But to add that attachment, you click on the button that says Add an Attachment. After you've clicked the Add an Attachment button, the Edit Document window will appear. Click the checkbox next to Do you want to upload this document? Once you do that, the screen will refresh and a blocking alert will appear, letting you know that a document upload is required. Don't freak out, this is normal. From there, you will see the Manage Documents button. Click the Manage Documents button, follow the prompts, and that is how you can upload your questionnaire attachment. The Documentation tab is where vendors upload their organization's required certificate of incorporation or equivalent documents. An example of a certificate of incorporation equivalent would be a business certificate obtained from your local county. Now keep in mind that this document may be called something other than certificate of incorporation. For example, your local county may call this document an article of incorporation or business formation documents. To begin uploading your certificate of incorporation, you'll do so in the Documentation tab, and you'll go to the section that says Add Document, and you'll notice that there is a drop-down menu. From that drop-down menu, select Miscellaneous Documents. After that, you're going to then click on the Add Document button. To continue the process, you will then be shown the Edit Document window. In the Document Type field, select Certificate of Incorporation. In the Document's Name field, you're going to write in Certificate of Incorporation or whatever your document name is, and then you'll click Save. From there, the screen will refresh and a blocking alert will appear saying a document upload is required. Again, this is expected. What you're really needing to do next is find the Manage Documents button and click it. And whenever you click a Manage Documents button, you'll be shown the link File prompt. Follow those prompts to upload your required document. Once all parts of the vendor enrollment package have been completed, the vendor admin should click on the Check Progress button to see if the package is ready to be signed and submitted. If there are requirements missing, blocking alerts will appear detailing the items that need to be completed for submission. You will not be able to proceed to the Signature tab if the package is not complete or there are any blocking alerts as shown on the screen. Once all parts of the vendor enrollment package have been completed, the Signature tab will become visible. Here is where the signatory reviews the entire package and its attachments before signing and submitting it to MOCS. Only signatories, I said it 3 times because it's very important, only these users will be able to participate in this part of the process. You can confirm whether your organization has completed filing the vendor enrollment package by viewing your vendor record status on your Passport homepage within the vendor checklist. You may see one of the following terms next to vendor record status. Draft means information still needs to be entered for the package, and/or the vendor admin needs to click the check progress button. Ready to submit indicates that all information has been entered for the vendor enrollment package and the check progress button has been clicked. What's needed now is that a signatory adds their e-signature and submits the package button. It's also possible that if the signature is added, but the submit package button has not yet been clicked, you will still be in ready to submit. And the next one is filed. This is where we want all of you to be. This means that your vendor enrollment package has been filed successfully with MOCS, but please note, this does not guarantee a contract. A filed status, however, is required for city agencies to initiate contracting tasks with vendors, and Passport will send you an email confirming the filed status. The next status is pending parent or controlling entity. If you have a parent or controlling entity, then that entity must also complete and submit their vendor enrollment package within Passport. And our final status is in review. Now, what does this mean? Usually it means that the submission is pending review, and if needed, MOCS will reach out for additional information. In addition to the vendor checklist, your vendor record status is also displayed below the top navigation menu when visiting any tab within the vendor profile. The example on screen shows the vendor's name and a vendor record status of draft. Maintaining your Passport account as a subcontractor is similar to account maintenance as a prime contractor. Make sure that you're reviewing your disclosures at least once a year to ensure the information is current and accurate. If you are on any pre-qualified lists, such as the Health and Human Services pre-qualification list, make sure that you keep track of expiration dates and update your application as needed. Let's do a quick knowledge check to see if you're still with us. True or false? The vendor admin can enter information, manage contacts, check progress, sign the package, and submit the package. I'll give you a few seconds. All right, those of you who said false, you're correct. The vendor admin is not able to sign the package. Only a signatory can do this. All right, let's do another one. What action or actions does a vendor need to take in order to go from a vendor record status of ready to submit to a vendor record status of filed? So the question is, what do you need to do to get from ready to submit to filed? The first option, do you need to just click the check progress button? Number two, do you need to identify parent or controlling entities? Number three, add an e-signature and complete and click the submit package button. Or number four, upload a certificate of incorporation or equivalent document. Is the answer 1, 2, 3, or 4? The correct answer is 3. When you have a vendor record status of ready to submit, remember, it indicates that you have already completed all the required information in the vendor enrollment package. Your vendor admin has already clicked the check progress button. So the next steps to get to filed involve having your signatory add their e-signature and then having the signatory or even the vendor admin click the submit package button. All right, let's move further down the line. Imagine that you've been filed in Passport and that a prime vendor has subcontracted work out to you. Among other things, you will need to let the agency know that the prime vendor has paid you. This process is called payment validation. Payment validation helps to promote transparency and reduce confusion around subcontractor payments. Subcontractor payments are not processed in Passport. Instead, they are recorded in Passport after payment has been made outside of Passport. Here's an overview of how it works and the user roles that are involved. The process begins when the prime vendor pays the subcontractor. Remember, this does not happen within Passport. So after that, the prime vendor must record this payment in Passport. Next, the subcontractor, that's you, confirm that payment. The subcontractor's vendor admin, vendor financials level 2, and vendor procurement level 2 users can complete this step. But remember, this needs to happen within 14 days. After that, what's going to happen next is going to be that the contracting agency verifies the payment in Passport. Once everything is confirmed and validated, the information is published on Checkbook NYC, the online transparency tool that provides up-to-date information about the city's finances. Here's a simple overview of the process. First, the subcontractor finds the payment validation task. Then, you review the information about the payment, such as the date, the amount, invoice, and so forth. After that, the subcontractor reviews any supporting documentation that the prime subcontractor may have included. Once those reviews are complete, you as the subcontractor can validate and confirm the information, or you can return it to the prime vendor for revisions. There are two ways that the subcontractor validation task can be found. Option number 1 is to go to the home page and look within the Open Workflow Tasks section. Once you've located the task, click the pencil icon. Option number 2 is to find the task on the Vendor Workflow Task page. To access this page, click Task from the top navigation menu. By default, tasks with an in-progress status are shown. Once you've found the task, click the pencil icon. You will then be brought to the Payment Information tab of the Subcontractor Payment window, where you can review the information submitted by the prime. Note that the approval status in this example is pending subcontractor validation, and that is the approval status you will have once you are notified that you need to validate the payment. The prime vendor name is listed along with the total subcontract amount. So in this example, it's $727.95.34. Very specific. Also listed is the total amount paid to date for this subcontract. So in this example, it's 0, indicating that no subcontractor payment has been recorded in Passport yet by the prime vendor. So this process is not yet complete. The amount remaining field shows the remaining balance for this subcontract. So these are good ways for you to keep track of where you stand in terms of the total subcontract amount, what has been paid, and what remains. Also shown is the subcontractor invoice date. Now this date should be the date that you submitted the invoice to your prime vendor. In this case, it's July 1st, 2024. The subcontractor invoice amount is the dollar amount shown on that invoice. And so this example is showing that the subcontractor, you, invoiced the total subcontract amount. And the payment date refers to the date you receive payment from the prime. This example shows payment was made on August 8th, 2024. The amount field should list the amount you were paid by the prime. So here we can see the amount listed matches the invoice amount, and that's what we want. And then we have the proof of payment field. This should contain either a check or electronic funds transfer, EFT, number associated with the payment. The payment description field should show information about the payment, such as the work associated with it. So in this example, the payment says that it is for completed landscape work. And then finally, the submission date. This is the date that the prime submitted a record of their payment to you in Passport. In this case, the prime is submitting this record of payment on August 8th. So all in all, what we know is that once we have received this task, it basically means that on July 1st, 2024, you as a subcontractor invoiced the prime for the full amount of the subcontract. And on August 8th, 2024, the prime vendor submitted payment to you for that total amount using 1234 as the EFT number. It was payment completed for landscape work, and they submitted on August 8th, 2024, this payment validation record within Passport. In the Documents tab, you can review documents submitted by the prime vendor. In this example, no documents were submitted by the prime. You can see that here because it says 0 results under prime vendor documents. But you, as a subcontractor, can also submit documents, such as your invoice or any other supporting document for the payment validation task. To upload documents, click the Manage Documents button, then choose whether to upload a document from your computer or from Passport Vault. When you're done uploading documents, go ahead and click Save. If there are errors in the payment information or document submitted by the prime vendor, then click the Return to Prime Vendor button. You'll then be prompted to submit a reason for the return. Make sure you're writing enough details here so that the prime vendor will easily be able to identify the changes they need to make. When you're done, click the OK button. You'll know that the action was successful because the approval status field will show returned. If everything looks accurate in the payment information and the Documents tab, click the Validate button. A success message will appear, and the approval status field will display pending agency validation. And the subcontractor payment records table will be empty until the agency validates the payment. Once the agency has validated the payment, the approval status field will display validated, and the subcontractor payment records table will be populated with the validated payment information. Here at MOCS, we are dedicated to making it easier for you to contract with the city. To that end, we have several resources and tools to help you learn how to use Passport. You can access our resources library by visiting nyc.gov/learnpassport. There you will find step-by-step guides and other tools to help you get things done within the digital procurement system. On that page, we do recommend using the panel on the right so that you can get to the topics you're interested in. Oh, and by the way, you'll also be able to find some of our resources in Spanish. Remember to visit the Trainings section of the nyc.gov/learnpassport page. You can do that by clicking on the link Trainings in the left-hand navigation menu. There you'll have the opportunity to sign up for future trainings and see our webinar recordings. Those of you that are new to Passport may want to watch the recordings for assigning user roles or completing the vendor enrollment package. Still have questions or need help navigating Passport? Check out our MOCS help page by visiting nyc.gov/MOCS help. You can review answers to frequently asked questions to address your Passport issues. If you want to submit an inquiry to the MOCS service desk, click the link at the bottom of the page and follow the prompts. We host several free trainings and events to help organizations just like yours do business with New York City. Visit mocsvendortraining.eventbrite.com to learn more and register for our upcoming events. Follow us to stay up to date on our events. We're listed as NYC Mayor's Office of Contract Services on Eventbrite. Getting Started is our series of monthly webinars designed to help new vendors learn how to navigate Passport confidently and become contractors with New York City. MOCS in Your Neighborhood is our series of in-person trainings and networking opportunities for vendors across New York City. And finally, Passport Vendor Financials is our series of webinars that show vendors currently contracting with the city how to use Passport and how to get paid. Before we end things, I wanted to take a moment to share with you our training feedback survey and urge you to complete it as soon as possible. We'd love to hear your feedback on this video, as it will help us improve future trainings and create better resources to help you get stuff done for the city. You can scan the QR code shown on the screen. I'll wait a few moments so you can access, or press pause. Did you do it? Okay, we're back. So please make sure that you're scanning the QR code. Provide us with your feedback. If you have additional questions, you can submit those questions via the survey as well. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.